Hi, how are you VMBC parents of preschoolers and kindergartens? Today I'll be reading for you Sammy's Gadget Galaxy, a book about patience. Sammy Stewart Sprocket Springs built the most amazing things. Things with wings and radar rings and spools of sparkly silver springs. Oh, how Sammy loved to hurry. It would make your eyes go blurry. He jumped from bed at 6 o'clock and dropped his jammies like a rock. He donned his astro garb and charged down the stairs and through the yard with Yapping Dak, his little dog, pouncing past him like a frog. There in shining silver steel, with spires of wires and whirling wheels, stood Sammy's Gadget Galaxy, complete with spaceship in 3D. He got it from a science kit. Dad had helped him quite a bit. They built it for the science show, which came in just a week or so, and he could hardly wait to go. He hopped inside his rocket ship and gave the power grip a flip. The monstrous motor roared to action, grinding gears with turbo traction. Mom and Dad awoke and moaned, while nearly all the neighbors phoned to holler, "Can't you make him wait till 9 o'clock or even 8? Sammy switched to Mega Drive. The rocket boosters came alive. Zoom, a zam, boom, a blam. Around the yard spun Screaming Sam until ka-chug, the motor quit. And that was it. Sammy gave the thing a hit. A bright white light flashed on and said, "Your Gotron power pack is dead." Sammy hurried back upstairs and, waking Dad in deep despair, he shrieked aloud, "Emergency! My spaceship needs a battery." "You'll have to wait," his father said. "Be patient, please. Go back to bed." Sammy tried a sigh, a cough. Dad didn't stir, so Sam was off. He bounded down the stairs again, through the workshop door, and then, knowing he was not allowed, he crept as quiet as a cloud, across the cluttered workshop bench, over ratchet, rasp, and wrench, and there, up high, as he could see, there sat a Gotron battery. He reached, he stretched, he groped, he fumbled, he wobbled and bobbled and bumbled and stumbled, and clatter, crack, crash, it all came down on top of Sammy on the ground. Mom and Dad burst through the door with no idea what lay in store. They stared, they glared, they saw the floor. Sammy stood there saying, "Oop," amidst the mess of gadget soup. "You'll have to pick this up," said Dad. His head was clearly feeling bad. "Put every piece back on the shelf, and maybe you'll convince yourself a little patience isn't bad. It sure would make your parents glad." So now poor Sammy Sprocket Springs scraped up the screws and scraps and strings, the wires and wheels and boingabobs, the spears and gears and knick-knack knobs, one by one, bit by bit, finding where each piece should fit, while little Dacky scratched his back and yawned and gave his lips a smack. Suddenly, a brilliant thought occurred to Sammy on the spot. Why not get some robot help? Dak agreed. Yip, yep, yep. The Chore-O-Matic cleanup droid is just the thing to help avoid picking up this mess by hand. I'm sure that Dad would understand. So from its creepy closet void, Sammy drove the giant droid. He smacked the switch marked "Clean up the floor," and how that droid began to roar. It scooped and scraped and made a stack. It placed things back upon the rack. Sammy drove and Dacky smiled as Choro-matic fixed and filed. But Sammy thought, it's still too slow. Let's see how fast this thing will go. We don't have all day long, you know. And feeling like a pickup pro, he gave the speed control a blow. And then, oh no, the cleanup droid let out a roar. Fire and smoke began to pour. Rockets blasted at the floor. And zoosh, it thundered through the door. Across the lawn and down the street, over cars and fresh concrete, over flowers, fences, and fields, it shoved and shattered with its shields. Around it spun and headed back, with screaming Sam and Tizzy Dack. The droid destroyed with roaring wrath, and there directly in its path was Sammy's Gadget Galaxy, his project in 3D. Crumble, rumble, blam, and crash. You should have seen that awful clash. Twisted, blistered, buckled steel, a blinding blend of wing and wheel. And trapped inside those frazzled things was Sammy Stewart, Sprocket Springs. Sammy waited upside down, hanging high up off the ground. He waited hours, while hooks and cranes picked apart the steel remains. And when at last they set him free, he gazed out at his galaxy. He sniffled, and his eyes turned red, then turned to Dad and sadly said, "Wow, I think you were right. A little patience really might be something I could try, all right? Now I'll miss the science show. I guess that I deserve it, though." And after that, our Sammy changed. He fixed and fenced and rearranged. And when at last the mess was gone, he and Dad got started on a bigger, better space creation, Sammy's Super Starship Station. But if you want to see it go, you'll have to wait about 10 years or so, because Sammy's patience grew so well. Just when he'll finish, it's hard to tell. Finishing is better than starting. Patience is better than pride. Ecclesiastes 7:8. So I know all of you might be having some trouble with patience right now. It's hard when we get to do the things we want to do or see the people we want to see. But I know that God has a plan, and He has a plan for everything. Just give your parents a break, guys. Have a little patience, clean up your rooms, play with your brothers and sisters, and get ready for school. And I look forward to seeing you guys next week.